Good morning everybody. Thanks for joining me again. I'm on Dartmoor again. This time I'm at Dartmoor. After my last video I thought I needed to come back and break the curse. So what am I doing this morning? Well, I was hoping for some sunny weather. The sun is already up, but as you can see it's pretty cloudy, although I do have lots of really nice rocks around here at this tour, so I'm going to try and take some photographs of them, and maybe the mist and the cloud in the background will help. But set myself a bit of a challenge this morning. Let me show you what cameras I've brought with me. So I'm filming on what would normally be my main stills camera, my Sony A6600 with its 16 to 55mm lens on. But let me show you what the challenge is today. So what I've got in the bag, although it's got a Sony strap on it, is my Canon AE1 Program. So I'm going to be trying some FP4 black and white film. Well, I was inspired to try this by a fellow YouTuber, Chris Harvey, who was out recently with his Canon AE1 trying some black and white landscape photography. I'll leave a link in the description below to his channel. Now, of course, I have tried black and white before, but only with my digital camera, where I can use the raw files and the software to dramatic effect, as you can see. But this isn't what I usually film with the Canon. This is the type of image I normally go for, something with some really strong structure, and I love portraits. Something like this with these large wheels and strong black and white image. But let's see what we can do out on the wild moor. I brought two lenses with me today, this 28mm, and I've got a 70 to 200 as well. Now I've set the tripod up where I think I want my first shot, and then I'm going to start thinking about exposure. Just taking the camera off the tripod for a second just to show you the settings on this thing. So as with most cameras, you've got the exposure triangle, shutter speed here, aperture is on the lens, and the ISO is set by the film itself. FP4 Plus is an ISO of 125, which I've set here. Now there's a light meter in this. This is one of the first cameras that had a light meter. There's a battery in this compartment here that just runs the light meter. Now I'm going to trust it. I started with the camera on 1/25 of a second, so I could hand hold it, but inside the light meter was telling me at that shutter speed I needed an aperture of 5.6. Now this shot, really I want a deeper depth of field, so I pushed the shutter speed up to 1/15 of a second. That told me I could use f11. So let's put it on the tripod and try it, shall we? Now normally I wouldn't have this big long lens strap flapping around, but it's not very windy, so I don't think that's going to give me any problems. Okay, let's make sure I've wound the film on, and then this is a manual focus, so just make sure it's in focus and press the shutter. Now that's pretty slow. Maybe I'm going to try the self-timer. I've never done that before with this camera. Okay, let's set the self-timer. Move it down to S. Put it back on the tripod. Focus again. Just going to try that light meter, still saying F11. And let's see what the self-timer does. Well, it worked. And developing the film, that worked too. And I'm really pleased with this first image. Now, okay, it's pretty boring sky. But as you'll see later in the video, I had a disaster when the camera went over on the tripod and the back of the camera actually opened slightly. So I'm really pleased to have recovered these images from the film. And composition wise, it's okay. So I guess the other challenge with this film camera is I don't have many accessories to go with it. So no filters, no cable release, so it's just as it comes. So I'm going to have to be really careful and clever about the exposure to get the best out of the film. Now, of course, I'm using a bit of a hybrid process, so once I've taken the film, I'll get it home, develop it myself in a canister, and then I'll use my digital camera to scan the negatives, which means I can then put it back into my software and do some editing. But it's not like taking a raw file on a digital camera. With a raw image, there's still the color in the data, so you can play with those. But for example, if it was a nice blue sky day, then I could actually increase the saturation of the blues, darken them down, and in black and white that would turn the sky almost black. Now with a negative, that isn't going to happen. What I take today is going to be on the negative, and all I can really do then in post-processing is play with a bit of contrast, a bit of exposure, and yes, I could dodge and burn a little bit by maybe highlighting the sky and giving it some clarity, which might work today with the clouds, but there's much more emphasis on getting these shots right today. Not sure how well you're going to hear me up here. I've come right onto the top of the tour now. Been wandering around for a long time trying to find some compositions. That's really difficult. With the digital camera, of course, you fire away at anything that catches your fancy, but with the film camera, I'm really struggling to find the perfect composition. I really must start taking some photographs. Anyway, I think this might be the next one. The sky is really not much at all, is it? So I think what I'm going to do is expose for the sky, try and make some detail in that. Might make the rocks a little bit dark, but let's give it a go. And of course, that's exactly what it did. You can see a little bit more detail in the sky, but not much. It was pretty flat. And of course, the rocks are now very dark. Now, in post-processing, I could have pushed this image up and brightened the exposure, but I thought we'll leave it as it is and just show you the photographs as I take them and keep trying. Well, my run of bad luck doesn't seem to have come to an end. A large gust of wind came across the top of the tour here and took both cameras over on the tripods. I thought they were stable enough, but obviously not. Now, both cameras are okay, but I don't think the L bracket or the microphone on the digital camera have fared very well. Anyway, I'm going to just compose myself and then see if I can take any more shots with the film camera. Well, despite the disaster, this is still a lovely spot, as you can see. There's that outcrop over there that I have already photographed, and on the leeward side of this tour, still a lot to photograph. I really like how these rocks have been weathered, and you can see all these lines. They almost look like they've been built by someone, and maybe that's what people thought in the past. Not sure if there's a photograph in these though. This main outcrop just here I really like. been here before, and you could isolate that with a shallow depth of field, and there was a nice dark hillside beyond, which is still there, but they've felled some of the forest, and it just looks a bit ugly today. Also, there's a lone tree I've photographed here, which is just over the rise here. I've been to see that, but there's a lot of bracken around it, so it's not the same shot. I'll show you the image from before. So of course this was taken with the Sony A6600. It's a raw file in colour, which I've converted to black and white, and then with the sky I've been able to turn those blues down so I can darken the sky. I've brightened up the clouds, and I've probably pushed the yellows up as well, just to brighten the rocks and the grass. I'm having to hold the tripod this time. Wind's blowing again. Can't risk the third camera going over. I'm going to go back onto the top of the tor here. There's a stone works up there. Looks a bit like a hut, but it's in a sort of spiral leading into a round area. I don't think it's anything Bronze Age. Might be wrong. If you know any different, let me know. But it's certainly something interesting to go and have a look at. And as you approach the tor from the south, you see this leading line in the path, which I couldn't resist taking a photograph of. But as before, I exposed to the sky to try and get some detail, which has made the image quite dark. Still like the composition, I like the path. Probably would work better maybe as a square crop. There's a lot of space on either side. On top of the tor, there's this collection of boulders with a circular hut shape in the middle and an entrance. Now I was trying to compose this so you could see the tors in the background. This is looking towards the east, and then this one looking south towards Sharp Tor and Cumstone Tor way off in the distance. But I'm trying to use the wall of rocks as a leading line to lead you up to the tor in the distance. Well, I think I'm going to call it a morning. The light really isn't improving much. The reason I came out today was I watched a video by Chris Harvey this week, and he took out his Canon AE1 and he was trying some FP5 film black and white landscapes, and that sort of inspired me to get out, so thank you, Chris. But I think today I'm going to call it go home and count the cost of the trip with those two tripods going over, but never mind. Hopefully I've got some good images. Won't know until I have them developed, but it's still been worthwhile coming out and having a wander around Yar Tor here. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all again soon. But for now, cheerio.